Welcome back to the Pistons Shack YouTube channel. On today's episode, we'll talk about the discussion surrounding a former MVP joining the Pistons. We'll also take a look at the 3 Detroit players taking over at the NBA Summer League. And finally, we'll preview the Pistons' third game against the Timberwolves in Las Vegas tomorrow. So let's get to it. All right, first things first. I woke up this morning and I was going through Twitter and I even got a couple of DMs about Russell Westbrook to the Pistons, and I immediately was like, where is this coming from? So as you can see on the right here, Jake Weinbach, I hope I pronounced that surname correctly, tweeted out, Russell Westbrook's free agency options have become limited, but I would not rule out the Pistons as a potential dark horse suitor. Despite minimal chatter surrounding the idea, Detroit should be targeting a veteran point guard on the market to strengthen its backcourt depth. Now, Jake, this doesn't look like it's sourced or anything. It's purely discussion. And I have my personal thoughts, and I think it makes absolutely zero sense. It just makes, in my opinion, Russell Westbrook, I actually really used to love Russell Westbrook, particularly OKC Russ. Like, he was one of my favorite non-Pistons back when he was in his prime. Like, I love like just the athleticism, the way he played, whole heap of things. But the Russell Westbrook that we have right now kind of is the worst type of fit in terms of skill set to put alongside any of Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, Kay Cunningham, or Jaden Ivey. Like, a guard, point guard that doesn't shoot, doesn't space a floor, isn't defended, is like not the best on defense. I'll give him, he's a great passer and he's always going to be a guy that has a solid first step and can create open looks. Like, I have no doubt that Russ could have some good games with the Pistons, but just like a guy that can't really shoot, it just makes no sense. So I push back completely on the Pistons should be targeting a veteran point guard like Russ. I can understand why some people are linking certain point guards, backup point guards, to the Pistons, but we spoke about it yesterday. I think what we're seeing from Dennis Jenkins, what we're going to have in Jaden Ivey, what the playmaking leap I personally expect Asar Thompson to make, the slight playmaking leap I expect Jalen Duren to bring in the front court. Whilst the Pistons don't really have a pure backup point guard, like Cade's kind of their only pure playmaker. I feel like they've got enough playmaking there, and particularly with a guy like Russ, I just don't, like, personally, like, I just wouldn't see it at all. Like, I know it would sell some jerseys and it would bring some excitement and more national attention to the Pistons, but that doesn't help anything on court. So later in the day, Brett Siegel from Clutch Points was just asked, and he tweeted, someone asked him, have you heard about Russ to the Pistons? And he said, not at all. So kind of confirmed, like, the way Trajan's been speaking, it makes no sense that he would go get a guy like Russ to join the team. And this hasn't even got anything to do with Russ' personality or anything like that. I just think purely from a skill set point of view and where he's at in his career, it just doesn't work with Detroit at all. He also later tweeted that Russ is in a holding pattern right now until CP3, as in Chris Paul, and Malcolm Brogdon have signed with teams. So Russ is just still on the market. I read earlier in free agency that CP3 and Russ in particular want to be back in California, or as close to California as they can, with near their families. So I would expect, I know that Sacramento were interested in Russ a little bit. Obviously they're in California, and it sounds like the Clippers have interest in CP3. So yeah, I kind of think if you look at the backup point guard market, we just spoke about 3 of them then, like, Brogdon would make some sense on the Pistons, but I also don't think like he's a need. He's also quite injury prone, which goes against the way Trajan has prioritized players in the past. So, yeah, I think we're good for a backup point guard. But that's kind of, I just wanted to bring that up because I genuinely had a fair few people ask me about it and I saw it. So I thought it was worth addressing off the top here. But let me know your thoughts. I personally think it would be like the worst type of like player just from a skill point of view and what they offer skill set wise to bring in to the Pistons. But I know Russ has had an amazing career, and there certainly is parts of his game that could help this team. I just personally just don't think it's a fit at all. But moving on, Hoops Hype. Every couple of days have been releasing like their top 30 performers at Summer League. And as you can see on the right here, it's their global rating metric. Now, I know all these types of metrics can have some holes in them, but I think it kind of aligns, at least for how our Pistons have looked at Summer League. And as you can see here, the Pistons have 3 players in the top 10. You can see Ron Holland sitting there number 2. Ron was number 1, I believe, after the first couple of days with his first performance, but he still was solid in game 2, but you can see he's slightly dropped. Dennis Jenkins with his really strong game 2 jumped up to the 4th position. And then Tolu Smith rounds out the top 10. So I want to just quickly note here that Ron is the only player under 23 in that top 11. He's actually, and he's only 20 years old. He's considerably younger than the other 10 players in and around him there. And then, so that's just a really good sign. This will obviously update. So certain players from certain teams have only played 1 game. So it's very small sample, but it's certainly something to highlight and give Ron some love for. And obviously Dennis Jenkins as well. But I've spoken a lot about Ron and Dennis in the past few episodes. So if you want my thoughts on them, go watch the post-game recap or some of the videos I've done on the same day. But I want to talk just for a minute or two here about Tolu Smith. I've been really impressed with him. No matter what, like, he's just a double-double machine. Just produces points and rebounds per minute. Like, even, I've spoken about it multiple times, that last game, game 82 against the Bucks, which was his first ever NBA game, in 20 minutes, he had 14 points, 8 rebounds. Like, it was not against a fully healthy Bucks team. Neither were the Pistons fully healthy or they were resting players, but he just comes in and produces. And as you can see here, in only 25 minutes a game, he's given you 15.5 points, 11.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 blocks, over 50% in the field. I think like of those 11.5 rebounds, like 5 of them offensive. So, and then the assists, like I touched on it, 3 assists per game. I think he had 4 last game, a couple, like a really nice no-look pass to a cutting Dennis Jenkins. Like, been impressed with that as well. I think he's got like pretty good touch around the rim. Sometimes, I mean, in the first game in particular, he missed a few that I think he would normally make. But just like I've been saying in the past few days, like so good to have him and Dennis on these 2-way deals, and they're such productive players. Even if it's like him and Dennis haven't just done this. This is not like just a summer league thing. Like they've done this throughout their whole time at the G League. So for people that have watched those games and follow Tolu and Dennis, even a lot more than me, they'll be very aware of like this is just what they do. So really cool to see Tolu in that top 10. Excited, like I think he's going to play every game, and we'll touch in a minute on how the Pistons can advance to the championship round or the semi-final stage. But I expect Tolu and Dennis to play at least 4 games, maybe 5, maybe 6. Like those are the 2 guys I think that if the Pistons actually progress to the semifinals and to the championship game, it's going to be because of those 2. I think Ron, it seems like he's going to play against the Timberwolves, but I think that'll definitely be his last game. I can't see Ron playing 4 games, but we'll see. We'll see. But that kind of brings me to the final topic of today, the Pistons versus Minnesota. Both teams 2-0. The Timberwolves, the Pistons have a much better point differential. They're like plus 16, and the Timberwolves are more like plus 6. So that's definitely the Pistons' favor. So the Pistons really just need to win tomorrow. I feel like they're going to have to go undefeated to advance because as you can see in the standings here, every team's going to play 4 games, and then the top 4 teams. So right now the Pistons sit 5, but the top 4 advance to the semifinal. Everyone else just will play a 5th game to like round out the rankings. But as it relates to the Timberwolves, the 3 players to keep an eye on are Rob Dillingham, point guard. He's out of Kentucky, played at Overtime Elite, I think with the Thompson twins or against them for a little bit. He's averaging 14.5, 7.5 assists. He's turning it over 5.5 times and only shooting 33%, but creative shot creator. I'm excited to see Dennis Jenkins mashed up on him. Leonard Miller was drafted. He was at Summer League when I was there in 2023 as a rookie out of G League Ignite. He's averaging 13.8, 2.5 blocks, kind of like 6'8", 6'9" forward. Surprised. I mean, I guess the Timberwolves have been in the Western Conference Finals both his season, so I'm not surprised that maybe that he hasn't gotten NBA minutes, but he was a guy I liked all the way back in that 2023 draft. And then Terrence Shannon, I think he was a rookie with the Timberwolves last year, but he's been their best player. And if you looked on that Hoops Height chart earlier, he was in the top 5, or he was 6, I believe. He's putting up 22, 6 and 6. So athletic wing, I believe. Not sure if he can shoot it, but those are the 3 guys the Pistons going to have to lock down. So if Ron's playing, I expect him on Terrence Shannon. I expect Bobby Clintman on Leonard Miller. That'll be a tough test for Bobby. See how his athleticism and defense can hold up, and see what on the other end if Bobby can make him pay from the 3-point line. And then, Dennis Jenkins will have his work cut out for him on Rob Dillingham, but I think Dennis is a better player right now. But that's going to do it for today's show, guys. Hopefully the Pistons get another win tomorrow. We'll be back with a post-game show, by the time you're watching this, the Pistons will be probably playing today at 4 p.m. So hopefully they can get another win. We'll have a post-game show, and then I'll have another video out for you the following day. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate all the love, all the support, and we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Until then, as always, go Pistons.